So I recently put out a few videos talking about how to get a specific class, be it the DK, the Ret Paladin, and the Feral Druid, geared during the pre-patch. It was specifically aimed at fresh servers, but I put this post out to the community on YouTube to ask basically, do you think it's worthwhile and should I continue it? It had mixed opinions. Some of you thought, no, I absolutely should just do every spec, every class, and some of you was like, a more generic video where it just aims at all classes would be better. So that's what I've decided to do. So today we're going to talk about all the ways that you can get gear in the pre-patch, but not even just the pre-patch. Some of this will be available before then. So if you've got a fresh character that you're trying to get ready for Wrath of the Lich King, look no further. Rather than keeping you waiting, I'm going to go straight in with the most impactful one first, which you might have forgot about. So during the pre-patch, we're going to get the Scourge Event. And the Scourge Event, outside of all the cities being plagued and everyone turning into zombies and fighting each other, all of that aside, it's very similar to that of the TBC pre-patch, where there are invasion points where you need to kill the Scourge, push them back, kill some mini-bosses, and get some items. Now, there's a few sets of gear that come in during that pre-patch that you can use these necrotic runes to actually buy that you might have forgot about. So you can get chest, shoulders, hands and legs, and this is the Mal set we're looking at specifically, but all the set bonuses are the same. So when you wear 2 pieces, you get 1% extra damage against undead, 3 set gives you 2%, 4 set gives you 3%. Now, the items are equivalent to Karazhan gear, so they're not actually that bad. And they're going to be very, very easy to get. You'll get them in a week, no problem. Of course, you can get these for all different types of armor classes, so you've got the cloth set as well, you have a leather set, and of course, you've got a plate set as well. In terms of entry-level gear to go into Wrath of the Lich King, using all 4 of these pieces will be absolutely fine. On top of this as well, during the Scourge invasion, there will be an extra boss in Karazhan called Tenris Merkblood, which drops Arcanite Ripper. So if you're a class that uses 2-handed weapons, it is a nice slow weapon with decent amounts of crit and attack power, and it's also got a use effect to bust out a face melter on a 1-minute cooldown. But it's quite an easy 2-handed weapon to get, so if you're a warrior or you're a Ret Paladin or even as a hunter you wanted to use this, definitely worthwhile. And then when it comes to PvP gear, just farming some honor to get things like the waist or even the boots, bracers, rings. Like you'll see here, some of these have got a personal and team arena rating, but I would expect these to be dropped completely in the pre-patch, and all you'll need to get them will be with honor. But you can even get a neck, a cape. You can get quite a few pieces of gear just from sitting in some battlegrounds for a day. I mean, there's even a few trinkets that are reasonably decent. You know, if you want to get a spell power trinket or a haste trinket or even an attack power trinket. So just a solid way of getting a few upgrades. You know, spend a day in battlegrounds, you might get 2 or 3 items, or it might take a couple of days depending on if you keep losing. But, you know, it's still not that time consuming. And let's not forget, Season 3 gear at the moment, the Vengeful Gladiator set, is all very cheap when it comes to actual arena points because obviously it was cut. But I would expect at the bare minimum Season 3 to at least start going for honor. And now we're talking this is really, really good starter gear to fill in any missing pieces. It's completely unknown whether Season 4 will become honor as well, or it will just get cut in the amount of arena points each piece needs. My guess would be Season 4 will get cut in the amount of arena points needed, and Season 3 will go for honor. But obviously don't take my word for that. It is just a guess, but assuming they do go for honor, it's a decent way of getting a few bits to fill in with the Scourge Event pieces, for example, that you've got. On the basis Karazhan requires practically no gear to even be able to go and clear, it's obviously worth doing Karazhan once a week as well. You're going to get about 22 badges of justice that you'll be able to spend on gear, and obviously there's some pretty decent bits of starter gear that you can just grab in Karazhan anyway. And obviously while we're talking about the small 10-man raids, going in and doing ZA time runs again is obviously a no-brainer as well, with some really powerful items like the Feral Staff from Hexlord, the Hex Shrunken Head Trinket with 53 spell power and obviously a use effect which increases your spell power even further. Zul'jin dropping very good spell power weapons, a decent bow for you hunters, and obviously a decent 2-handed sword as well. And I suppose I should really mention Berserker's Call for pretty much anybody who can make use of attack power. But overall, running Zolaman once a week or twice a week, because it's only a 3-day lockout, you're going to get quite a few bits of gear just in ZA every week, especially if you can do the time runs, because remember, trying to get the bear during the pre-patch, absolutely worthwhile because it's going to be your one and only last chance of being able to get it. That is assuming that it's still in the pre-patch and it don't get taken out. Hopefully it doesn't. But if you really can't be bothered to raid, so you don't even want to do Karazhan or ZA, at least doing Magister's Terrace Heroic every day will be worthwhile, or at least most days, because you've got things like the spell power dagger that's going to be very nice. You've got a very fast dagger for rogue. You've got a decent spell power staff with spirit. Some decent trinkets from Priestess Delrissa, but obviously Shard of Contempt is the best out of them all. The other ones, apart from the healing trinket, are actually decent trinkets though. And then obviously KT drops some decent stuff as well. So going in and doing this every day just to get your 4 badges a day, again, that's going to work out to 28 badges a week on top of all the other badges that you can get just doing ZA and Kara, you're easily going to be able to... Oh, wait, this is going to lead us on to the next point nicely. And it did. You'll easily be able to visit Guerras in Shatraf and get yourself some badge gear as well. And again, some of this is obviously really nice. And even if you're just using the badges just to fill in some slots, if you haven't managed to get any gear from things like Magister's Terrace or Zolaman or Karazhan, just don't forget this isn't the only vendor. You'll also want to head over to the Armory on Isle of Keldanas, and there's even more badge gear that you can look at. And this badge gear is now exceptionally good, but it also costs a lot. But if you happen to have 150 badges spare, you can get yourself a very, very good weapon that will definitely carry you all the way into Zoldrak, which Zoldrak's about 75, 76 you'll get there, and that's probably the first time you're going to replace your weapon, if you was to get the badge weapon, that is. And I suppose a very obvious one is going to the auction house and seeing if there's any upgrades you can get there, particularly the crafted armor pieces, which can be very good, and some of them go pretty cheap now, in the grand scheme of things. Picking up something like Cloak of Darkness, which is a very nice cape, and I mean, on this server at the moment, it's like 285 gold, which is not massive amounts on the basis that you can run around and do the Isle of Keldanas dailies every day to make a decent amount of gold. Now, don't get me wrong, you might not want to invest too much gold into your character when it's all going to be replaced in Northrend, but just giving you options. These sort of things, when it comes to the fresh RAF servers, you're probably not going to see, and you're not going to want to buy them. So for fresh RAF servers, I'd rule the auction house out, almost. You want to hope that you've got like a decent guild where they're getting recipes quick, and maybe you sort of bundle things together to try and get some upgrades pretty quickly for all of you. And obviously I mentioned doing Magister's Terrace Heroic every day, but it's absolutely worthwhile doing your Heroic Daily each day as well for the extra badges, and you might get some loot in the Heroic Daily that you're actually doing. And a lot of people have said, oh, there's no one doing Heroics, no one's going to be doing Heroics. On fresh servers, you know, everyone's going to be doing Heroics. Everyone's going to be trying to get a bit of gear at least during the pre-patch. So if you're on those servers, you'll probably have a lot easier time finding groups for Heroics. On the existing servers, maybe not so much. But I think all of these points definitely apply to everyone, no matter what server you're playing on. And that's basically it. They're the best methods that I can think of to actually get geared fast. Doing quests and getting some gear from quests, absolutely. You could go straight from just questing in Neverstorm and getting some gear to going straight into Northrend, and you'll be absolutely fine. But if you want to put a bit more emphasis on your character and get as much gear as you can during the pre-patch, then absolutely follow in 1, 2, or all of these tips. Will definitely help you out. So be sure to like and subscribe. Roll the outro. There's lots of ways you can support the channel to keep me here putting out World of Warcraft content and covering all future MMOs. Consider joining the channel as a member. You get access to emotes. Everyone will know you're a member when you comment on future videos because you get a nice icon next to your name. And you get access to members-only videos, which I'll be putting a lot of on the channel throughout the year. Additionally, there's a Patreon link in the description as well. Thank you for watching all the way to the end, and I'll see you on the next one.